Welcome to Amaurot, the first level 80 dungeon in the new Final Fantasy XIV expansion Shadowbringers, and the first one whose name I'll probably be pronouncing incorrectly. This dungeon drops item level 430 accessories. First, a note about the trash here. The terminus detonators give stacks of fire resistance down to the target it tethers to, and on death they will self-destruct in a small radius around themselves. It seems that if you increase the distance between the player and the mob, just before it reapplies the fire resistance down stack, you can actually reset it. I'm not sure if this is intended and will be changed later or not, but it seems for now there's a way to make sure your stacks don't get too high, even if you don't focus them down right away. There's also another mob called the Terminus Roiler. This will tether to a healer and give them healing magic down. So obviously you want to make sure that this gets burned down immediately so that your tank can keep on doing those big pulls and we can keep using those juicy new AoE rotations. First boss players will happen upon is the first beast. I think that this is the most difficult boss in this dungeon. It's a bit chaotic, it has the only real mechanics check. With that said, let's get into it. Venomous Breath is a conal AoE directed towards the tank. Meteor Rain targets the healer and 2 DPS with proximity AoE markers that will snapshot their location after a short time and drop boulders there. The Falling Sky targets 2 random players with a large circular AoE, so simply move out of that. The Final Sky, the boss will move to the west side of the arena and begin casting. At the end of this long, high damage cast, the boss needs to be line of sighted with a meteor. Being hit will give a stack of suppuration, reducing the affected player's health if they survive the hit. After the Final Sky goes off, buildings will begin to collapse, marking most of the arena for an enormous AoE. The east side of the arena is where the safe zone will be after the Final Sky. The second Meteor Rain will also cause exoflare-style circle AoEs to travel across various parts of the arena. Think back to AlphaScape 2.0 or the Raiden encounter of BA. These give stacking vulnerability up, so do your best to avoid them. They also sometimes change direction upon reaching a corner, so practice awareness and respect the mechanics. The Burning Sky marks all 4 players with smaller circle AoEs. This doesn't hit very hard, but you should still try not to overlap. The second Final Sky will be cast on the east side of the arena, followed by the buildings following with the safe zone being on the west side of the arena. And finally, Earthquake is a point-blank circle AoE. The second boss you'll encounter is the Terminus Bellwether. The Terminus Bellwether is a rather simple fight. After pulling it, the first thing it will do is cast Shrill Shriek, a party-wide AoE that hits for light damage. Fairly quickly into the encounter, the Terminus Bellwether will disappear and several ad waves will appear. Burn these down, keeping in mind that the detonators here function just as they did in the trash pools, and keep their self-destruct on death in mind. The Terminus Sprinters here will also occasionally cast Ether Spike, a column AoE at a random target that is easy to dodge. Other small circle AoEs will periodically appear throughout the phase, and the ad spawns seem to be timed, so employ AoE to avoid being overwhelmed, just burn them down as quickly as you can. And finally, after the ad waves, the Terminus Bellwether will begin to cast Burst. It'll begin growing in size, and for each growth/stack it gains, it will take increased damage, so burn it down before the burst cast finishes. The final boss of this dungeon will be Therian. Therian has an ability called Shadow Wreck, which is a party-wide AoE. It casts Apocalypsis, which is a damage over time beam hitting the entire platform besides the nooks on the sides, so stand in one of these nooks as quickly as possible to avoid taking heavy damage. Note sometimes these nooks will glow pink, indicating they are compromised and should not be used to dodge Apocalypsis. When the boss casts Therian Charge, he will deal proximity damage from where he leaps forward, rendering less of the platform usable for the party. And finally, Deathly Ray is an ability that has 2 possibilities. The first thing you should do whenever you see Deathly Ray cast is check if heads appear on the left and right sides of the arena. If heads do appear on the sides of the arena, each will cast a column AoE in front of it, one side at a time, so either the left side will cast its column AoEs and then the right side, or vice versa. The damage from these casts is channeled over time. If heads do not appear on the sides of the arena, the boss will do a channeled column AoE towards one of the party members, target 2 players with medium circle AoEs, and then repeat the column AoE he did before the circle AoEs. Don't stand in the shiny death beams and everything should be fine. Congratulations on clearing Amaurot.